Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, it is time for Ocala Magazine Radio. Your host is in the studio, John Sotomayor, the executive editor of Ocala Magazine, is bringing you another great show. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Larry. How are you?
Pretty good. You got another great show lined up, huh?
Absolutely, we do. We have a lot of guests lined up today because we have a couple of heartfelt stories we covered in our May issue. The first was a story called Shattered, and it has to do with brittle bone disease.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and the other was this ability to overcome, and we've profiled some men who have some physical hardships, and we're coping with them and overcoming them with their artistic abilities.
Oh, wow.
So we have one of them here today who's going to share their stories with us. So the purpose of today's show is to have an uplifting look at people who are not letting physical disabilities hold them down.
Oh, I love that. Love that.
Absolutely. So let's meet our guests. First, I have Christine McConnell and her daughter, Cheyenne McConnell Sawyer. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
We have Sigrid Santiago. Good morning, Sigrid.
Good morning. It's Santiano.
Santiano, thank you. And we have Wayne and Eileen Prokopiak. Did I say that right?
Yes.
And you can use the microphone there. Okay. Great. Good morning.
And if I could actually just push that switch up on that micro, it sounds like it's not up. The one you're holding, there's a switch on the side of it. Yeah, there you go. Now I
Got
think
it?
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Let's start off with Christine. Christine, I understand that you and Cheyenne recently returned from Jacksonville the other night. That's where Cheyenne goes for treatments?
Yes, sir. She goes up to Jacksonville to Nemours Children's Clinic as well as Wolfson Baptist Hospital. Mm-hmm. And that's where we go for all of her medical treatment.
Okay. And what did you have to go up for this time?
Another fracture.
Oh, boy.
We have made 2 trips this week. One Tuesday evening and one yesterday.
Let's talk about this disease. It's called osteogenesis imperfecta?
Yep, osteogenesis imperfecta.
Okay. And tell us and our listeners what it is.
It is basically the collagen is not produced right or not produced in the right amounts. Mm-hmm. If you are familiar with what rebar does in cement and driveways, that's what it does in our bodies.
Okay.
And all tissue. It strengthens, it supports, it keeps it strong. All organs, bones, everything, all tissues.
And so without it,
without it, everything is weakened. She does not have to do anything to have a fracture. The immune system is compromised. Lungs, everything. So going out in public is a big, huge trek for us because it's what are we going to run into while we're there.
Okay, let me ask you, Cheyenne. Cheyenne, what happened? How did you get the fracture this time?
Well, this time I bumped it by accident. Like by a bump, it was like barely a tap. So, yeah.
Wow.
Something that wouldn't fracture you fractures me. Like, yeah.
I see. And what are some of the biggest challenges that you face?
Well, getting around like in the wheelchairs and stuff, and getting out with like a crowd and yeah. Because
somebody could bump into you, or you could fall. Yeah. So, how does this affect your day to day? I mean, what is your normal routine for you?
Now it's okay. Get up. Okay, anything broken yet? Okay, good. No. Let's go make it through breakfast now.
Good. Good. So you keep an upbeat attitude always.
Yeah, you have to.
Absolutely. What would you like other people to know about this disease and about you yourself?
That it's not clumsiness. It's an actual thing that doesn't have to have anything happen. So instead of like, oh, you tripped. No, you can just be sitting and it will happen.
Absolutely. Okay, understood. Christine, back to you. As a mom, I can understand this must have been very difficult for you. Tell us about when she was a baby, how you first found out.
Well, when she was actually a week old, I noticed that her scleras, the whites of the eye, were staying blue longer than the normal infant. Her chest was more concave than normal. Her lower legs were very, very curved. which straightened within time with me doing stretching and light massage. And they did not diagnose her at birth because a lot of doctors don't know about it. And so we went years with her having severe bruises, sprains, small fractures, and she was diagnosed around 10 with osteogenesis imperfecta when we switched to a different pediatrician who actually had some experience with it, just by a fluke. We switched just to go get shots in the physical for school, and she looked at her health history and said, wow, I've got to send her somewhere for testing.
And you said she was 10 years old at that time?
And she was about 10 at that time.
Wow, so you must have undergone a lot of injuries up until that time, and nobody knew what it was.
And nobody was listening to us that she would fracture her feet walking across the living room floor. You know, and I would show up in the emergency room, and of course all the emergency rooms are saying, are you sure you're in a safe house? Are you sure you're in a safe environment?
Yeah.
And, you know, and that got to be a battle. It's like, okay, now they're starting to pinpoint you as something that's not going on. So now you don't even want to go to the emergency room.
Did you have to deal with social services and stuff?
I've been on the, we'll say, the border of dealing with them several times. There are emergency rooms here in Ocala that I will not take her anymore.
Okay.
Just for the pure fact that they don't understand it, and I want to educate them.
And let's talk about that further. That takes me to Sigrid. Sigrid, I invited you to this show because you're the one who called me and told me about this story to bring awareness to me, and I honestly didn't know anything about it at the time either. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. How do you know them, and what inspired you to seek this story to bring it to attention?
Actually, I met Christine because mutual friend of ours, we were doing an interview with you for the concert series.
Yes.
Remember a few years ago? And Marie Murphy introduced me to Christy because I love massages, and she's a terrific masseuse.
Oh, okay.
And that's how we met. And then I met Cheyenne. Actually, when the first time she came to my house, she was about 10, and she had just put a boot on her foot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because she had at that time was able to play soccer, and that was the end of soccer, apparently, because she cracked her feet, playing soccer or just walking. And that's how I met them. And it's been some years.
And you've obviously devoted yourself to this for some time now. You also want to present some more awareness. What are some of the projects you're working on?
Well, I was hoping that we might do maybe a golf tournament or something to let people know, more people know, because not everybody reads the magazine. Maybe we can get it out in other ways.
Sure.
And let everybody know, and also try to make it a fundraiser, because these kids are in a PT Cruiser, which is not the place to be with a
wheelchair.
What she really needs is a van that is wheelchair accessible. So that's what, at the moment, we're trying to work towards.
Okay, so for our listeners out there, and we have a very philanthropic community, we have a cause here, and it is brittle bone disease, otherwise also known as, say it again for me.
Osteogenesis imperfecta.
There you go. So if anybody's out there interested in helping out, you can contact Sigrid?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you want to give your phone number?
It's 629-5395.
Okay, and if you didn't get it, you can always call me at the magazine, and I'll be sure to contact you both.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's move on to Wayne and Eileen. Wayne, you had another very fascinating story. Eileen was the one who brought it to my attention. I was fascinated by the fact that you drew inspiration through art. Right. I happen to be a big supporter of the arts. I believe it's very empowering and healing. So tell us a little bit about your story, what you deal with.
I have spondyloarthritis. And
hand it to Larry and he'll fix it. All right.
This is not working.
Okay, well,
Here, this
got it.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
And I didn't know what it was when it came around. All I noticed was that I started to have a lot of pain in my joints, problems with my joints, my hands, back, hips, and I went to quite a few doctors, and they did a few operations on my knee, removing a lot of bone, because they noticed a lot of bone growth in the joints, and they would clean it out and take care of it, and I was on my way. until I started getting more pain. And I said, something's wrong here. I'm having more pain in my hips. I can't walk. I can't do this. I have to use a cane. I didn't like to use a wheelchair. The cane helped me, but there were times when I couldn't even get out of bed. Eileen would have to constantly take care of me, wash me, dress me, everything. And I went into, I always worked in arts and things like that. And it hits you as you're a little bit older, in late 20s. That's when it hit me. And it got really bad, and I couldn't walk at all. So,
tell us again the name of this disease.
It's ankylosing spondyloarthritis. It's one of 100 types of arthritises that can hit you.
Is this very common, or?
No. Some of the doctors I went to didn't know what was wrong with me. They just put it off as your joints are sore. That's all. Nothing else. And I said, well, there is something wrong here. Until finally they sent me to infectious disease doctors in Philadelphia. We were in New Jersey. They took blood, did this, did that, and they were finding nothing. They took x-rays, all types of scans that I had to put up with that were a problem. I hated going into hospitals and places where they did these scans because it was a real problem. It just annoyed you. You got annoyed about it. My immune system got weak. A couple years after we moved here, it was so weak that I got spinal meningitis and was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and I didn't know where I was. And it just caused that problem. And as a matter of fact, after having that, I found myself even having forgetfulness from the meningitis. So this spondylo, one doctor had told me, the one that sent me for the major blood test, a special blood test in the hospital, he was the one that found that it was spondyloarthritis through this test, and he said, that's what I'm afraid you have, and you're not going to get rid of it. It's just going to get worse and worse, and coming here, it got worse. It is worse. So now I see my doctor once a month, and I have to get shots of testosterone for some reason, taking pain medicine and a lot of different things like that. And it's just the artwork that I do makes me feel better because I feel like I've accomplished something, not just sit around and watch TV like a lot of people do.
Well, let's talk about that. First, I want to say that we all hope that you feel better, both of you, all of you, and I'm sure our listeners feel the same way, and hopefully we'll find things to help you both with these illnesses. But yes, I do want to focus on the art. In our magazine, the May issues where we cover it, on page 43, we have a photo of you holding a guitar.
Right.
Who is that artist on there?
That is Keith Richards.
Keith Richards.
Yes.
That's a beautiful rendition there.
Thank you.
Tell us about that one.
That I was in New York with a group, the Starlight Foundation. As you can see, I can't remember a lot. Starlight Foundation, and he was in New York, and I brought in a guitar. I had a guitar with me because you never know in New York. And I was lucky enough to speak to him, and got a signature on a pick plate.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then he did the artwork on
Then I did the artwork.
We're hoping to.
Could you share the microphone? Just share the microphone so we can hear you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
We're hoping to find a buyer for it at some point, or we may donate it to an organization, a cause. Yeah.
Sure.
Which we'd like to. We did a lot of that in New Jersey.
Yes.
We gave a lot of things to
Muhammad
charities.
Ali boxing gloves that were signed by
I
him.
was going to ask you. Yeah, there's other
Yeah.
photos here of Muhammad Ali in a boxing glove.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal in a basketball.
Right.
Yep.
So you got to meet all these.
Yes.
So
all of
many,
them. So
many
many
people.
It's almost like a trip that we took around, from Mickey Mantle to Joe DiMaggio to just about any boxer you can imagine, that anybody you can imagine, and it was a real thrill. They really liked the pieces too. And Mickey has a piece of mine in before he passed away. His family now has it of his family portrait, and Muhammad Ali has a glove. And a few senators and congressmen, and on and on.
And some of your work is hanging in the Boxing Hall of Fame, is that correct?
Yes, I was the artist for the
What an
Boxing Hall
honor.
of Fame.
Yes, very much.
Thank you. Yes.
So how did the whole sports connection come about? Are you a big sports fan? Or
Yes, big sports fan. I used to like to play different sports when I was younger. And then, after a while, when I started to get a little older and wanted to play, say, softball or something like that, as the little older guys like to do, I couldn't do it. Because I couldn't walk that far without having problems that night or the next day and continuing and having problems and back to the doctor. And
So then he picked up, doing artwork. I said, why don't you try sports or, something different, because he was
Right.
doing portraits at the time. And then it opened up all these new doors for us to meet all these people, and they're all so nice and they were all so gracious.
it's very supportive.
Very supportive, it was an honor. Joe Namath, I mean, we have so
Wow.
many photos at home with all these people, and it's not that we're bragging, I'm just
It's
so proud of
humbling
him,
to be
and
part of that.
we're very humble, yes. And I'm just so proud of him. I just wanted him,
Yes.
to be known that he's here and he's pushing through his pain, through his art.
We're proud of you too, Wayne. This is why we
Thank you
added
very
you in our
much.
feature. I'm very inspired by both of your stories.
Thank you.
Everybody has some kind of adversity in their life that they have to go through.
Yes.
And sometimes people say, if I had to deal with that, I don't know what I would do.
Exactly.
And so you guys are an inspiration to everyone. Other
you.
people dealing with the same illnesses. I'm sure there's somebody listening out there who can relate to your stories.
Right.
And even other people who may not have a physical disability but are undergoing some kind of adversity.
Exactly. Yes.
So,
Yes.
so wonderful.
Yes, it is.
Elaine, I want to ask you, Wayne shared this a little bit, but as his wife, tell us about some of the things you as the spouse has to do, because I can understand that there's sacrifices you have to make as well. So tell us your story.
Basically, I take care of him and his care giver, and I just do everything that has to be done at the house. I try and be the handyman. I cut the grass, whatever needed. I'm just basically there for him, and I set up his appointments for the doctor and make sure he gets his medicine and gets fed, of course. And from there, I also contact customers so that we can get a little extra money, because he is on disability, to buy our product, which, thank goodness, we have still repeating customers from Jersey, because he's been doing it for 25 years. So I'm just proud because he is in pain and I see it, but when he does finally finish a piece of artwork and either it gets sold or it doesn't, whatever, I'm just so proud that he is pushing forward and not letting it get to him or getting him depressed and get down about it.
Yes.
He's not giving up. And I feel anyone with any disability, if you have a dream, just try to pursue it. Even if you can't get there totally, just do a little bit.
Right.
Just a little bit something for you to give you a positive attitude.
Good advice for anyone, really.
Yes, exactly. For
Little by
anyone
little.
is correct.
Do you guys have a fundraising project locally you want to bring awareness to, or an organization with a website?
We don't have a website as yet. We're trying to. It's quite expensive. We just go through our email. That's basically it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And once again, if there's some listener out there who wants to help you, they can reach us at Ocala Magazine, and we'll be glad to connect
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
you. Okay. I want to focus again back to Christine. We'll bring the mic. Same question as before. May is Mother's Day, and so one of the reasons why I wanted to bring your story there was a mother's story of unrelenting support for her daughter. So again, share the same kind of things you have to do that's a little bit maybe more above and beyond what?
The same thing, anywhere from helping dress, bathe, shower, orchestrating medical appointments, maybe physically moving her a lot, very, very carefully, trying to get people to understand maybe we can't go to a family function because she's not feeling up to it or because we're afraid of the crowd, what it may bring on, getting people to understand. Trying to orchestrate work or getting groceries or, things that are normal in the house and being a single parent, so like Eileen, I do it all also.
Yeah, yes.
But yeah, so I understand your story very well. There is not an hour that is of, I'm going to say, free time that doesn't happen. Because if I'm not taking care of something medically for her, I'm orchestrating something at the house or, something behind the scenes that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
So,
well, let's talk about the things that need to be done. What are some of the next plans for all of you? We'll go one by one in order. What do you have planned next?
The next plan, as Sigrid said, get a fundraiser going, get that in motion, get awareness.
Is there a website or organization people can call?
You can go to the OIF organization that's online, and you can Google osteogenesis imperfecta or OI, and it will take you right into their website.
Okay.
So they have a lot of information. They're international now. They're a great group. They've really helped us a lot with educating us and helping us to educate others.
Excellent. And Cheyenne, I'm sure our audience wants to know what are your plans with school and your eventual career and all that? What do you would like to do?
Well, I'm hoping to go back to school, and after that, I hope to become a criminal psychologist.
Wow.
But I also want to help people learn about OI.
Yes. So be an advocate for it.
Yeah, that way they realize that it's not just, whatever, it's something.
Well, you're doing it already today, and with your feature story and with today's radio broadcast. So
with Cheyenne's disorder, she has what's called homebound schooling. This is our first year doing it. It's gone great. She is a fantastic teacher. To go back to a regular school setting, we had too many fractures, too many illnesses and pneumonia that settled in very, very quickly within hours.
I don't think we talked about that enough. It's not just the bones, but there are other illnesses, infections that can happen.
If she goes back to school or anywhere like a store or whatever, and let's say somebody has gotten their immunizations, their flu shots, she has to actually be away from people for at least 10 days.
Oh, wow.
So how do you know if somebody in the grocery store has had their flu shot? Because we went through that about 2.5 years ago, and she ended up with pneumonia within less than 2 hours, and I actually almost lost her. I'm not willing to gamble my daughter's life. It's not worth it.
So like Wayne, one of the other symptoms is your weakened immune deficiency.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to Wayne and Eileen. Final messages for our audience. What would you like to share?
Well, I'm working on the project.
Give him the mic.
Oh, yeah.
For the Seven Bridges, they're the band that Eileen took me to a show that a band that does mostly Eagles music, and they asked me if I would do a guitar of all of them. They'll sign it and they will donate it to charity.
St. Jude.
St. Jude.
Okay. Say the name of the band again.
Seven Bridges. They do all Eagles music.
It's a tribute band.
Tribute band.
Okay.
And I'm working on that, and it'll be all of them on the guitar, around the guitar, and they'll autograph, and then charity. See what they can do for charity for that with that.
Okay. Excellent. Eileen, you wanted to share something?
Yes, and then he's going to be doing a Redskins painting, which are going to be turned into prints. So we're pretty excited about that.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that I'm getting all the research for that now as we speak. I do that as well. I purchase books or go online, and someone contacted us, so we're really excited.
Yeah.
I want to see that finished product also.
You really should have an exhibit here in town locally.
That
I did the 1974 Pittsburgh Steelers, and so I got to see Terry Bradshaw and all the players from back then, Jack Lambert, and we became friendly with the one player, I can't remember the fearsome foursome, and unfortunately he passed away. He was in a car wreck and killed. Ernie Holmes.
Ernie Holmes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was calling us, we were calling him, so we made a lot of best friends, but unfortunately he passed.
Okay. Well, there's going to be plenty of more opportunities for all of you, I'm sure. Thank you all for sharing your messages today and being here with us, and we wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
And thank you very much for having us.
Thank you very much, Larry and Robin, once again, for hosting us.
Thank you, John. Great show as always. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Ocala, baby, what makes you look so good? Why don't you love me like I know you could?
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by MyFWC.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it. Florida, partly sunny, breezy today with a spotty thunderstorm around. Now high 84 to 89. Partly cloudy tonight with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, low 68 to 76. Tomorrow and for Sunday, we'll have a mix of clouds and some for the weekend. There can be a couple of showers and thunderstorms around both days, probably most likely during the afternoon, but certainly